Woo! Check it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And tonight we are talking about how to creatively invest yourself house hacked into real estate. So let's just read it off, right? Real estate investing sounds like something only the wealthy will do, but let me show you how regular people are doing it creatively with less money than you think. And the number one way is house hacking. I remember when bought my first house, and I was a brand new lieutenant in the army, and you have a basic housing allowance when you live off post, or when you live off the base, is what we say. The military will give you a housing allowance, and instead of using that housing allowance to pay for my rent or to pay for your housing living on base, instead you're going to use that money to pay for your house. Well, if you can use part of your housing allowance, only part of your housing allowance to pay for the house, and you have someone that lives with you, that's called house hacking, right? You're hacking your way through your house payment, your mortgage payment, your PMI, your interest rate, all the things that are associated with paying for the house. So it actually requires less money than you think. But the only challenge is, how are you going to get pre-approved for it, right? You got to show the bank that you're going to be able to pay for that. How are they going to be ensured that in case something happens, you can pay for the house? Well, there's the advantage with being a military service member, or you're a veteran. Paying for the house, the VA covers for that. That's for the military side. Now, for the civilian side, the advantage is the FHA, it's the Federal Housing Allowance. So, just because you're not a military service member doesn't mean you don't have access to um, like a zero down payment. FHA does that. There's loans out there, specifically from the federal side and also from the state side. There's a caveat to that, though. Some places, some states, for example, California, some of the loans, they say zero down, but then you have to pay for that on the back end when you do sell the house, right? So it's not necessarily zero down. They'll just lump sum it into the loan or wrap it around the loan, and then you'll just have to pay that back on the back end, right, when you do sell the house. So but the FHA, it's 3.5% down payment. So for a $350,000 house, maybe a $15,000 down payment, right? And you might just have to borrow some money from your family members, or your parents might just gift it to you for $10,000, and then there you go. There's your 3.5% first time home buyer. And the government loves that. They love assisting people with their first time buying a house. So um partner with friends or family. I've gotten offers with my buddies to invest in a house, and I've done that. I haven't pulled the trigger, but I've gotten offers, and it's also another creative way. And then finally is just, yeah, like starting with your primary home and then renting it later. So you don't necessarily need a home or need a partner, or maybe house hack living with somebody else. You could just live on it and then turn it into a rental later on. That's an option as well. So, overall, you just don't need six figures. People say, "Oh, you need all this money, $50,000, $100,000 to get into a home." No, you don't. You might have to ask several banks, but go for no, right? Get a bank that will trust you, or see what assets you have, and they see it from your perspective and your situation, and they're willing to take you on. So that's what I have to say about that. Mm, 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 mm. Share my screen. Wait, let's try that out. Look at this. Okay, so let's check out Redfin. And so when you go on Redfin, this is what I would recommend to do. And say, let's go to what's up, Wolf? What's going on, man? Welcome to the channel Q&A tonight, and we're also live here on YouTube, and I'm sharing my screen on the YouTube channel. So if you want to hop on that and see what I'm talking about on real estate side and creatively investing, feel free to do that. Who's Wolf? Cool. Okay, so let's just go. We're in here. We're here in Redfin. So let's go to Tacoma, Washington, for example. Do that, right? Well, you want to do for sale, right? These are your tabs. This is what you can do. Literally, this is what you can do as a non-agent. This is just as a consumer. I remember doing this years ago when I was looking to invest in my second home, right? And buy my second house. And I remember just going on Redfin or Zillow, doesn't matter, whichever you prefer, red or blue, price. And then you want to go look at what you're pre-approved for, right? So let's just say you're pre-approved for 350,000, right? What's going on, Dre for the win? Welcome to the live here. What's going on, man? Comment below on the chat. Okay, no, he's gone. Some people don't. Obviously, so they can't see on Instagram. Anywho, 3 bedroom, 2 bath, right? Let's just go with that. Maybe even 3 bed, 1 bath. I wish they could see my screen. There you go. Oh, okay, here we go. Okay, how about that? Okay, so as you can see here, we have a 3 bedroom, 1 bath, home type, house, and filters, all additional filters you could put in. It doesn't really matter at this point right now. We'll close that out. So save search. No, you don't need to save search. Let's just search it, right? Okay, search it. That's what it's showing right now. So what you can see here, let's just go with this one. No, let's go with something that's a little bit nicer. Looks like a mobile home park here. And let's go with this one. This one looks good, right? So let's just go with a 2 bed, 2 bath. Okay. So it's currently listed at $350,000, estimated 2,736 per month. Well, let's just go verify how that's broken down, right? It says here zero down. So if you're a veteran or you're a service member, obviously that qualifies you. That's your zero down. But if you're an FHA person, now you want to put 3.5. Best case scenario, you're at 3.5%, because that's all the FHA loan requires you to. And then there might be a mortgage insurance that comes with it. So you kind of want to edit that. So usually it's about a percentage of 1.5. So let's just say 438. It's a little high. Let's just go 1%. So 292 is your mortgage insurance, because you're going to have that if you have an FHA, because you got to pay for, right? And that's the difference between FHA and for veterans. For the VA loan, is the VA loan covers you, backs you up just in case you default, but this mortgage insurance covers you in case you default. So $281. Homeowners insurance, that's normal. It varies based on state, location, all that good stuff. Property taxes, you can just look that up in the in the history, tax history right there. You have access to it. So it says value property taxes here. Obviously, you can see it has been going up to 3,952, and then per month, right? So 3,952. Okay, so done. Your property taxes is 329. So if you create an escrow, it goes directly to your escrow. You don't have to worry about that at the end of the year in paying your taxes, because that'll be covered already. So and HOA dues, I guess this place has HOAs. I'm not too sure. Let's just scroll up. Let's take a look at it, right? and townhouse. There you go. It's a townhouse. Usually, places that has townhouses, they have HOA. There you go. And so the thing with HOA is they cover, your landscaping, some rules, regulations, your driveway, your grass, your roofing, your sidewalls. Look at that. Yeah, I mean, you can just see the wall. This thing is all banged up. So like HOA, it requires homeowners to they have to have upkeep, right? They can't just let their house deteriorate because it's the standard of the neighborhood. So depends how you look at it if you prefer that. And then that way it also prevents the home market or the housing prices in that area from going, crazy with the numbers, right? It keeps the house pricing in that area relatively about the same. So for the most part, HOA, utilities, you can't add that. Let's just say when I was living there in Washington, include utilities, say water and sewer. Let's just say that's $40, and then gas. Let's just say because sometimes gas could operate your heater or it could also operate your gas stove. So it depends if you're gonna go gas or stove for your heater up there. So let's just say everything's operated through gas, and then maybe $60, and then internet, $50, right, per month for high speed. So now there you go. Did it go? Oops. I don't know if I added. Include util. There you go. So now you include your utilities. Very useful, right? $150, HOA, principal and interest, property taxes, homeowners insurance, mortgage insurance. This is for someone with an FHA. Now, if you are a veteran or a service member, obviously you're going to subtract 281, so that gives you to 20 about 2,900. So for this 350,000 dollar home, say you close at 350, that's how much you'll pay, $3,126 per month. Now, what I would recommend is I would not go over 33%. That's typically what they recommend. So maybe you could do 40% depending on your tolerance, but the bank doesn't want you to really go over 33%. It should be only a third of um, your your gross income. Because life, you got to pay for your housing, then you got to pay for your groceries, you got to pay for bills, all kinds of other things. So you don't want to, bank doesn't want you to overstretch yourself. So it's $3,126. Let's just look at the pictures though, real quick. Do you see yourself living in this home? I do. Looks pretty good. Open concept, peninsula, goes right to the back door. Looks like they took care of it. Nice countertops. Looks good. Well, it looks like just a sticker on it, though, vinyl. This could have been a his or hers, but you could just easily update that. That's easy. Huge backyard. Oh my goodness. Oh, right into the lake. How you like that? But it's a townhouse, right? So, but you have access to go directly into the ocean. What's to the lake? Ocean to the lake. So as you can see, it's $3,126. Now let's just let's just go to a different area. Okay, so keep this in mind, right? $3,126. Share this tab instead. Okay. Oh, let's go back here, right? So now we're gonna go look. Do end up leaving that house? Honestly, I'm telling you, this is like the easiest thing that you can do without being an agent. This is what you do as just a consumer, man. So you put for rent price, and now you go back to 350. What's going on, Ravia? If you got any questions, man, just drop it in the comments. So now let's just keep it to $3,000, $3,333. The bedroom is gonna be 3 bed, 1 bath. 3 bed, 1 bath, or a 2 bed because we want to keep it the same. And then home type was a house. Actually, it was a townhouse. We could even just click on house too, because house, townhouse, look those up. And so now, I can't remember what the location was. Let's just go back there. So let's look at where this location was. This comparable that we have here. Okay, so it's east of the Air Force Base here. It's south of the College Pacific Lutheran. It's also east of the I-5, and then so it's right in the middle. It's right by this lake here. So it's cool. In reference points to the base, a lot of military Service members, obviously, they're always going to be looking for homes as close as they can to the base. Now, I've driven on here in this area before because I live there, and so not so much the greatest area. Maybe there's some crime in there, drugs, illegal activities, that kind of thing, especially right here, because I had worked there, used to run the law enforcement there, and so in this location, it's pretty good. And then back to looking at the rent. So now we're here. So keep in mind is it was 3,000, but that's including utilities, right? So most people are not including their utilities in their search, right? So let's just remove that. This was just to know how much it would cost, right? So let's just remove that, right? Let's just do that because then it'll make more sense for the the consumer, the person that's looking at this house, say, because you've already turned it into a rental property, right? Would someone say you've bought this house already and you're about to leave and you're wondering, oh, is someone going to rent my house? Well, is someone going to search this and be comfortable with paying 2,976? Let's just wrap it to $3,000, right? Is someone out there right now, let's say you bought this house, you owned it, you're about to leave and you're putting it up for rent. Is someone researching right there, right now, Redfin, looking to rent a house for two bed to $3,000, and for you to just break even? I mean, I would not recommend negative cash flow. Well, some places do, like Los Angeles. They like negative cash flow because they just bank their money on the appreciation of the homes, and that's fine. That's up to you. Depends on your investment strategy. Share this tab. Okay, here. So let's just go to that location, right, where we had looked, right by the base. Okay, let's remove the outline here. So in this general vicinity here for a two bed, one bath, there's one north of here. Um, so this right here, 3,000. See, this is what you need to know because $3,000 per month. This is how much is listed for rent for four bed, two and a half bath. And we're just looking at the townhouse. It was two bed, two bath. So how much do you think a two bed, two bath is going to rent? Well, look at this one. Because so today's interest rate is six. Let's just say you got a 6.2 for a fixed interest rate, or maybe if you did a what do you call? It's the variable rate. Maybe you did an ARM, right? ARM. Maybe that would be down to like 5.5%. I don't know. Go look up the existing percentage, right? So let's just go look back in the area, right? There's not really any references right now except this one, two bed, one bath up north there. Now let's just go east across the road, three bed, one bath. It's still at 2549, 2,500. And these don't have HOA. That's the thing. And they're also not by a lake. Well, maybe this one is by a river. But these don't have, okay, so this one might be yeah, it might be a townhouse. 300, but it's six bed, two and a half bath. So the HOA is really what's hurting you. You're 3 grand. So you got to keep that in mind, right? When you're buying a house and you have a HOA and then, or a townhouse and you have a HOA and now you're converting into a rental property and people, they'll have to pay for that HOA when they move there. Do people want to pay for an HOA, or are they willing to just live outside of that, not have to pay an HOA? Because if that was me, I'd rather just go live. Well, it depends too. If you prefer the convenience of living right outside the gate or driving 10, 15 minutes east of that, this one has no HOA, three bed, one and a half bath. Well, it's half a bath less, but you have one more bed and it's only 2,500 and it's ginormous and it's 2 stories. It's got a nice driveway. It's also got a little backyard. So from the current rates today, it all depends on your risk tolerance, and then are you going to break even, right? So those are the things that I would look for. Are you going to break even? Are you willing to eat up a little bit of the price if you really like that location and you just want to get a house? Because the thing is, the bottom line is house prices, they're always going to go up, and interest rates might go back down in the next year or this year even, right? And then you could just refinance. I did that. My first property, my interest rate was 3.5, 3.5, something like that. And then a year or 2 years later, the interest rate dropped down to that 2.5%, that crazy percent. And I just refinanced and I paid like 2 grand or three. I can't remember how much I paid for the refinance. I did the Earl. It's a special thing for veterans or service members, and I only paid a little bit, and I wrapped it around in the low no down payment, and it was amazing. And then it brought down my interest rate to 2.5%. But the key was just getting into the door, just getting into the house, because then after that, my the value of the house was just it increased by like $100,000. So although I was eating up a little bit more of the pricing, I knew that at some point in a year or two later, the housing the cost of the house is going to go up, and then I knew interest rates would eventually I could refinance and just get even lower rates. I mean, you look at it through history. Decades ago, interest rates were 10, 11%. I believe that was in the 90s. Correct, I might be wrong, but well, and then people just refinance. So for people who had owned, say, a house in the early 2000s, the interest rates were 7%, 8%, and they refinance several years ago. Now it's at 2%. Gosh, I can only imagine how much they're paying per month. I don't know, 100. So, um, I share all of that because that's something that you can do right now. You don't need $100,000 in the bank to go buy a house. Just got to know the numbers. You need to know what you're researching for, and then looking at the monthly mortgage payments, the utilities, all that, how much you're going to be paying, and then say, just put yourself in that situation. If you were gone today, or if you're about to leave or exit that house, can you turn it into a rental? Can you turn around and sell it and get a profit and not eat it? So those are the things I would recommend to do. So I gave you a few pointers on what to look for in Redfin. Very short, brief, but if you have any more questions on that, and you need me to cover that more in detail, please drop a comment below. I'd love to give a little bit more information on that as well. Or I could hop on a call. And if you're in that stage right now, you're looking to buy a house or even just sell your home and need some assistance or just guiding or pointing you in the right direction, shoot me a DM, comment below, or get me just shoot me a message 310-346-2147, and we'll talk and we'll help you. We'll be able to take care of you. So with that, I'll turn it back around here because we're also live on Instagram. With that, everybody, appreciate everyone tuning in tonight, and we'll see you again next week. Let's crush it.